Thank you for tuning in to the Joey D broadcast. Guys, we're going to ask that you don't be a bitch and you like and subscribe. Our preferred network is Rumble because they tend to not restrict what we can say and what we can do. So do that. Click the link in the description, or just look at your screen and type that name into Rumble. Join us, and to help you get a little motivation, we are now giving away $25,000. All you have to do is the following. Click the subscribe button on either one of our Rumble channels. We have the Joey D broadcast and Joeydshorts. Those are excerpts from our show, and you can subscribe to either one of those. Next, in the description below, you will find our website, www.thejoeydbroadcast.com. Within that, depending on what you are using to search, if it's your mobile app, you will click the three bars at your top left, and you will click the icon that says contact. Fill out that form. That is information we will need to enter you into the raffle. Name, number, email address. Okay? In the comment section, click that and write what channel, what network did you subscribe to, YouTube, Rumble, etc. Go ahead and fill that out. Click send. We will retrieve that, and then we will send you a confirmation email within a couple of days that states you have been entered into the drawing for a $25,000 cash prize that will be paid out to the winner in the form of a cashier's check. Obviously, we're not going to go doling out $25,000 in cash. That would be pretty risky, but we will provide the winner with a cashier's check for $25,000. So make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you spread the word. Hey, maybe you can cut a deal with a friend or family member, and if they win, maybe they'll give you half, right? So it's all you got to do. There's no purchase necessary, no donation necessary. Click one of our channels on one of our networks that we are hosted on, and our preferred is Rumble, and that's all you have to do. Subscribe. Fill out the contact form. We do not sell your information. We do not benefit off email addresses or anything, so that information will be secured, and that can be found in a written statement on our privacy link within the Joey D website. Okay? So don't be a bitch. Subscribe, like the video, and it potentially will get you 25 grand, right, if you're the lucky winner. But speaking of a bitch, all right, let's hop into this, right? We got Tiger Woods. He's up to his games again, man. This is good. Now, I gotta say, I ditched a girl at a mall once before, okay? And I've made plenty of tampon jokes. Now, the difference is Tiger Woods has escalated. Now, he's made a tampon joke. That got him in a little bit of heat. He had to apologize for it. I don't know why he did, but he apologized. Okay? But he took the ditching a girl to a whole new level in a couple ways. One, the girl I ditched at a mall was at very first date, and she was an absolute bitch, and she wouldn't shut the fuck up. You would think she came from royalty with the way she was acting. Tiger Woods didn't just ditch her at a mall, and she wasn't just a girl he just met. No, this was his girlfriend. Tiger Woods. Oh, I said that weird. Tiger Woods' ex-girlfriend sues for $30 million after she was allegedly taken to the airport for a fake vacation and told she was locked out of the house. Man, that is brutal. Tiger Woods, that is some... Whew. That's a whole new level, man. I gotta give you props, though. I mean, because you went above and beyond. I mean, you clearly had some motivation to get rid of this kook. I think it's funny. I know a lot of people are probably going to be, dude, that's messed up. And I mean, it is messed up. But, I mean, to make her think that, hey, we're going to the Bahamas, you know. Rafi's going to take you to the airport. Tiger Woods' ex-girlfriend, Erica Herman, filed a complaint against Woods that claimed that a legal entity controlled by the golfer violated her tenancy agreement and owes her $30 million in damages. That's a little obtuse, man. $30 million for a prank/breakup? It's like the opposite of you've been pimped. You've been tricked, bitch. Like, come on, get over it. I think the real problem is she was with him for his money, and now she's upset because it just poof, disappeared. The woodsy boy doesn't want anything to do with her anymore. Golf Digest reports that the complaint filed against the Jupiter Island Homestead Trust, controlled by Woods, alleges that the entity violated the Florida Residential Landlord-Tenant Act. When the golf legend broke up with her, Herman says, by trickery, agents of the defendant convinced the plaintiff to pack a suitcase for a short vacation, and when she arrived at the airport, they told her she had been locked out of her residence. Okay, so this just gets deeper. It's actually even more hilarious than I originally thought, because he wanted her out of his building. She probably wouldn't leave, so he's like, shit, babe, let's go on a vacation. So he has some friends trick her, pack your shit, let's go on a vacation, and then bam, she's locked out, and broke up with her. That is awesome. Herman says that she was told she was not allowed to return to the residence, the same address as Woods, and was confronted without legal counsel to aid her in her emotional moment. They utilized a lawyer to confront her with proposals to resolve the wrongdoing that they were in the midst of committing. And man, that is awesome. That is good. What money can do for you. And look, I'm not familiar with Florida law, so I won't suggest that it wasn't somehow a violation. We're not going to call it illegal, but I'm not going to suggest it wasn't a violation. I personally like Woods. I think he's an amazing athlete with superior skills. So I kind of support him in his movement. I mean, it was his house, right? So, I mean, they weren't married. Was she paying him rent? I don't know. She also alleges that her belongings were removed and misappropriated. I doubt he wants your box of Tampax, baby. Come on. He didn't steal any of your nonsense, and he probably stuck them in a dingy storage unit, and then they were robbed by a meth head. I don't know. He didn't steal your shit, Sherlock. You ain't that special. He's the millionaire. As well as defamatory statements were made about how she makes money. Well, I think we know how she makes her dime. Yeah, Tiger Woods 9-iron, huh? The defendant's agents removed the plaintiff's personal belongings from her residence and misappropriated in excess of $40,000 in cash that belonged to her. Come on, making scurrilous and defamatory allegations about how she obtained the money. I'm sure she did not obtain $40,000 in cash by posing for the elementary school's new photo op. I mean, come on. I mean, maybe she did. The elementary schools are into some really weird shit now. Maybe she posed nude for him. This is what a real vagina looks like, and over there, it's what a man who thinks he's a woman. That's what he looks like. That sparkly dildo is just an appendage that was sewn on. She thinks that Woods really needed 40 grand in cash. Maybe one of his friends did, sure, but, you know, proving the ownership of cash, that's pretty difficult. Maybe that's why everybody should accept the CBDC. The trust operated by Woods responded saying that Herman's claims of an oral tenancy agreement with supposed 5 years remaining are irrelevant given the reality of the situation. The response says that the departure is a simple breakup. See, oral tenant agreements, oral agreements of any kind, don't matter, baby. Get over it. He doesn't want you. Oral agreement, come on. Like, you sucked his dick for a year straight, and each day you sucked his dick, what did it buy you? It bought you 24 hours. Get over it. He surely got over you. He doesn't think your dick sucking is that great, apparently, anymore. In reality, Miss Herman was invited to live in the residence while she was in a relationship with her former boyfriend. See, that's how it works. His house, his money bought that house. You are sucking his dick, so you are his girlfriend for now. And once he's done with that dick sucking, you can hit the curb and continue to make your cash in whatever manner you're making it. See, come on, you're not going to be hurting if you got 40 grand in cash sitting around. How long did it take you to make that? You're fine. Relax. Yeah, but I mean, he's absolutely right here. According to recent court documents, the cover sheet for Herman's complaint, I almost said compliment, complaint, she responded yes to the question. Does the case involve allegations of sexual abuse? Come on, you dummy. No, it doesn't. This is ridiculous. However, in October of 2022, Herman responded with no to the same question. I think she was enraged, and what do women do, or men who pretend to be women do when they're upset at the opposite sex? Or I guess in some cases the same sex. They resort to accusations of sexual abuse, sexual misconduct of any kind. Anything they can conjure up, that's exactly what they're going to do. That's ridiculous. Tiger Woods is more creative than Spielberg after this plot, says Alejandro Oliva. That is, yeah, that's right. That was pretty damn creative. It will be an uphill battle for her without concrete rights to live at his mansion for free. Yeah. So that's pretty damn accurate. Dude, I gotta give it to you. Props up. That is absolutely perfect. And I think she's a little woke. You know, maybe just a slightly too arrogant. But while we're on the topic of woke fanatics, woke freaks, woke banana whacked people that shouldn't be in positions they are, woke school board exonerated by community and teachers over its anti-Christian bigotry, sued by Christian University. Look at this freak. Look at that thing. Not only does that thing need to go on a damn diet, that thing is freakish. Like, damn. Cat ears, green hair, a smile that makes me want to vomit up yesterday's oatmeal, earrings that are pulling down her already extended elf ears, and those teeth. They look like they've been chiseled. Maybe they're so sharp because she's been trying to gnaw off her dick. And it's apparently proven pretty complicated with that giant-ass muffin getting in the way. She don't got much in the way of tits, so she should probably work on that. But yeah, this is reported by The Blaze. A woke school district in Arizona decided in February not to renew an agreement to involve student teachers from a Christian university, citing that the incongruity between their Christian beliefs and the LGBT dogma, and further claiming that their biblically informed values made the board feel unsafe. So the thought of Jesus Christ makes these people feel unsafe. The biblical values that say a man shall sleep with a woman and one woman, you marry that woman, and they should have children, and basically try to be kind in this life and do unto others as you would have done to you, that makes them feel unsafe. But the wacko beliefs of the alt-left, who believe in violence, murder, for any belief that differs theirs, that makes them feel nice and cozy. Astonishing. So, Bible equals unsafe, and woke left values equals comfort. You know, what happened to the days of people like this being treated with some Seroquel, Klonopin, or maybe some Depakine, or maybe a Depakote? I think Depakine's the liquid version of that medication. What happened to those days? Where are they? Why are we no longer institutionalizing these people? Why are they not being sent to BP4 or the Hershey Medical Center for the Mentally Disabled? Why are they not in some sort of state facility that they can be treated and then properly released once they fulfill the treatment obligations? This used to be considered a mental disorder. This is a mental disorder. LGBT, they're the people who want to chop off your kid's nuts. When your daughter gets boobs, they want to chop them off right away, sew on a penis to her. And we encourage this. We encourage hormone blockers. Oh, these beta males, man. And I just actually, I read a post on Twitter. I don't know why it was in my feed. I didn't follow this crazy left bitch, but I got a notification in my feed of this girl from Hollywood. I don't think she's anyone famous, but she's attempting to be. And it was her, this is what a strong, powerful woman looks like walking down the street. Okay? Played the video, it was like 10 seconds, 13 seconds long, and she's just strutting her shit with a big old smile. So I click into her profile. She has hashtag don't like alpha males or something to that effect. What do you want, a beta male? Like, if you're straight, you want a beta male as a boyfriend? You're going to feel safe with that? Because let me tell you something, sugar. It's people like you who think you're going to defend yourself against a rapist, a male rapist, a biological male rapist, and then you're going to be begging for some big, strong man to save you. There are biological differences between a woman and a man. So don't think for a second that you're some kind of equivalent to a real biological man. You are weaker, and that there are some women who are stronger than men, but for the most part, you biological women are physically weaker than men. It's just the damn facts. So who do you want? If you don't want an alpha male, you think you're going to take care of yourself? Shit. Anyways, back on topic. Teachers, parents, and community members in the Washington Elementary School District made their opposition known at the school board meeting on Thursday within hours of the Christian University filing a lawsuit. So, I haven't read this article yet, but I am interested as we get deeper into it to know, was it in opposition to the school no longer permitting the relationship between the Christian center and the school to continue, or was it in opposition to the idea that the Christian faculty from that organization wanted to be involved in the school? Because if it's not the latter, that's common, man. Any kind of conservative opposition or any kind of vote on a measure that says they want the opposite of what the school board wants or the government wants, they don't care. They push forward anyways. They don't care if you're opposed to that. They could give two craps. I mean, really, they're going to push through what they want, because the moment they see 70% of people don't want the same as them, they're like, well, we don't have the public support, so we're just going to ram it through. So what's the background on this? The Blaze previously reported that the woke school board responsible for the WESD, I assume that's the school district zone, Arizona's largest elementary school district, convened a meeting on February 23rd, where they voted to dissolve the district's partnership with Arizona Christian University. Up until now, degree students from Arizona Christian University have been able to perform their student teachings and practical coursework at the Washington Elementary School District's campuses. This agreement stuck on February 22nd of 2018, before the world got too wacko, and proved to be beneficial amid a national teaching shortage, which is still ongoing. It's running rampant, especially here in Pennsylvania. So yeah, they requested that the board renew the agreement with the university for another year. However, newly elected school board member Tamilia Venezuela, a self-described bilingual, disabled, neurodivergent, queer, black Latina, backed by Planned Parenthood, suggested she wouldn't feel safe bringing in a biblically minded teacher from Christian universities who hadn't ideologically conformed to the satisfaction of the LGBT activists. You know, that's a really interesting mindset to me. The fact that these LGBT people and other organizations and groups with similar mindsets just refuse to have anyone who thinks differently than them, and they claim they feel unsafe. Why is that? Why do people not want people who think differently than them on the same team? Isn't disagreement and quarrels good? Isn't the opportunity to sit down and have a civil conversation with other people good? Doesn't it build on the conversation? Doesn't it build on the narrative? Doesn't it help come to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement? No, these people don't want anything. They want you to conform. They said it right there. You have not ideologically conformed to the satisfaction of us activists. You must conform to us. Why? Why can't other people have an opinion that is separate from yours? Why can they not be on the same team? Granted, you'll disagree, but why can't they voice their concerns, their opinions, their ideologies? Why is that, lady? Man, thing, whatever the hell you are. Despite admitting that recruitment was really difficult in the light of the nation's teacher shortage, the queer thing said that I'd be better to suffer the absence of teachers than the presence of Christians. So it would be better for her to suffer the absence of the teachers because she'll have no problem teaching the kids all by her, he, them, lonesome, the values of the LGBTQ organizations and their mindset and their ideologies, because they want the children to be conformed to that. And how evil is that? At some point, we need to get real with ourselves and take a look at who we're making legal contracts with and the message that it is sending to our community. So, sending the message to children that they can cut their dick and tits off, that's okay. Sending the message to children that they should go on hormone blockers before they even have the mental capacity to digest what you've just told them, that's okay. Sending the message to children that they should report their parents if their parents disagree with what the school is teaching them, that's okay. Well, of course it is for them. It's not okay for us, though. Because that makes me feel like I could not be safe in the school district. He, she, they, them, transformer face at it. The institution has policies that are openly bigoted. You dumb fuck. Do you even know the definition of bigot? I doubt it. The left uses a lot of terminology against the right that really isn't placed in the proper setting. The definition just kind of slides away, and it's like they slopped it in there because it doesn't make any damn sense. It doesn't apply. Do they even know what the word femoral means in the right context? I doubt it, because hopefully that's what their movement will be, femoral. It's not the artery either. Don't be stupid. Yeah, so she feels unsafe. And the institution is bigoted at a structural level. I will not sit here as a member of the community and let our children be subjected to that. Gay school board member Kyle Clayton concurred, noting that basically he just don't want that kind of stuff in the schools. Yeah, okay. My pause is not that they're Christians, bullshit, so much as it's a particular institution's strong anti-LGBTQ stance and their strong belief that you believe this is your to your core and you take it out into the world. But Clay, you take to your core and you take it out into the world your LGBTQ gay queer agenda into the world. Do you see how that's a contradiction, Clay? Do you see? Or are you too blinded? Because Christians, monks, Muslims, you guys, you queer, gay weirdos, everyone has a belief that's in their core, and they try to spread that. It is what societies have always done. It's what beliefs across the spectrum have always done. So, why is it okay for you to take your particular message, your evil, depraved message, out into the world, spread it to children, but the complete opposite spectrum, that's just wrong? How is that? How can we not take our core belief and spread it? And somehow that's wrong, but you're just hokey dokey, man. Doesn't make any sense. He goes on, we cannot continue to align ourselves with organizations that starkly contrast our values and say that we legitimately care about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, right there you contradicted yourself again, because diversity and inclusion, equity, would all include the opposite beliefs of yours, Clay. Yours in that he, she, Mexican transformer. Do you understand that, Clay? Probably not. You're too retarded. You have fundamentally been sucked dry by the system. Your mental capacity is such a low state. It is so damn low, you couldn't even begin to fathom how obtuse you sound. How stupid you sound. The level of retardation that flows from your mouth, it makes me want to grab a big old cork and pile drive it in there with a big old mallet. Oh my goodness. And they unanimously voted 5-0 to end the contract. You know, how many of those members on that board are leftist? Forget the gay, queer, transformer thing. How many of them are just left? Well, that's, and then I would be curious, the community, the parents of those children. See, because you have the members of the board who are doing this, but what do the parents think? Community speaks out. That amid heightened security and dueling rallies outside, LGBT activists supporting the exclusion of Christians on one side, and those advocating for inclusivity, which is exactly what Clay just said needed to happen. Inclusion. And freedom of religion on the other. A teacher speaking in support of the arrangement with ACU, identified as Laura Blakesley, reminded the board members that all practicum students and student teachers are supervised directly by WESD teachers. Holding back tears, Blakesley noted that out of the dozens of practicum students I have had throughout my WESD teaching career, 16 of them have been from ACU. All 16 have taught lessons to my students under the direct supervision of myself or other mentor teachers at my school. All 16 have glowing reviews in regards to their instruction strategies and connections made with all students. Right, because largely there is a huge, there's a stark contrast between how Christians broadcast their message and how queers, gay, and transformers broadcast their message. See, Christians, we gently nudge it along. Contrary to what the left will tell you, we gently nudge it along, whereas these transformers throw on a huge gay bash and invite your children to it, and some wacko parents actually do it. And they have gay men straddling dildos, saddles, and all sorts of other weird nonsense, and then they encourage children to shove dollar bills down their ass crack, and hey, while you're at it, shove your pinky finger up there. I think it feels good. Yeah, there's a huge difference. There's a grand difference between the two groups. So, yeah, this is very just so the times. I hate to sound like one of those tweeny weirdos, but it's the times. I mean, this is just going on. It's getting worse. While we're on the topic of getting things going in the wrong direction, and leftist, where do you think most of the crime is? Quick poll. Yeah, it's leftist cities, you're right. It's liberal cities. 100%. I hope that offends someone. I really do. I hope you're offended. But it's true. Most of the crime is in left cities. Actually, sorry, back that up. All of the crime. Who would have thought? Amazon to close 8 checkout less stores, all in liberal cities, because guess what? Amazon's losing too much money. And no matter what they tell you, capitalism works for them, and they like it. Amazon is closing 8 of its 29 Amazon Go stores that operate without conventional checkout processes, designed to minimize staff costs scanning customers as they walk by. As reported by GeekWire, the Amazon stores will close in progressive cities. It still stands there left. Progressive is left. With at least some of them in areas of high crime. Some of them, bitch, all of them. Whoever wrote this, stop trying to be polite. All of them. All fucking one, every last fucking one of them. They're all in high crime and high drug use areas. 2 stores in downtown Seattle, that's a shithole, will close permanently along with a 3rd and 4th Avenues. along 3rd and 4th Avenues. I said that. I know I talk about retarded people, and sometimes I have some retarded moments because my brain likes to scan things ahead of time, and yeah, it makes me come across super delayed mentally. 2 more locations in New York City will shut down. That's another shithole. And that rat, forgot her name at the moment, but she has that rat face with those fucking pokey teeth. Yeah, her. Yeah, she's running that place great. And 4 in San Francisco, you know, the tent city with all the crackheads. Yeah. You know, maybe Crackhead Calvin should take a trip out there one day and just do his thing. You know, that fake coke, though, really jacks up my nostrils. But yeah, like any physical retailer, we periodically assess our portfolio of stores and make optimization-based decisions along the way. In this case, we've decided to close a small number of Amazon Go stores in Seattle, New York, and San Francisco, said Amazon spokesperson in a statement. See, they don't want you to know the real reason because they also don't want to admit it, because they have strong interest in continuing the narrative. They also have strong interest of keeping it hush-hush because they've donated to the Democratic Party. And it is exactly the Democratic Party that is destroying this country. That mindset is like acid, man. It's terrible. We remain committed to the Amazon Go format and operate more than 20 Amazon Go stores across the U.S. and will continue to learn which locations and features resonate most with customers as we keep evolving our Amazon Go stores. You know, Amazon really isn't doing that hot anyways, but neither is Walmart. Now notice the companies that aren't really doing that hot are also just like the progressive cities that are left. Go woke, go broke. I don't know who came up with that saying, but I like it. It still holds very, very true. The stores made their debut in 2016, funny, under Trump, when the country was fantastic, and just 2 years of Biden, they're shutting them down. Huh. Showing customers scanning a QR code upon entering the store before beginning their grocery shopping experience. And I'm adding that word, but it doesn't matter. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added into your virtual cart. That's kind of creepy. I never heard of these stores, by the way, before this article, but that's creepy. I find that weird. We use computer vision to and deep learning algorithms and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it just walk-out technology. Well, they are on the forefront of the Antichrist, man. They are laying the groundwork for the great deceiver to go ahead and stamp that little 666 number on your forehead or in your hand. Man, that is some dark, creepy shit. Strangely enough, a near exact replica of Amazon Go store was theorized in 2006 IBM commercial promoting radio frequency identification, RFID if you don't know. The commercial shows a man stuffing grocery items into a trench coat throughout the store to the disapproving gaze of onlookers. Then, as the man walks out of the store, he is scanned by a machine, and a security guard stops him, but only to hand him his receipt. Amazon will still open new stores, probably in right Republican neighborhoods. One recently opened in a different Washington location. It will soon shut down because that is an absolute shithole. Oh, boy, what can you say? Moving on to terrorist. Narco-terrorist state on our southern border. Does this surprise anyone? I mean, be honest. Does this surprise you? I feel like it shouldn't, because we open the borders, right, for anyone to flow through, and we're a loving country now. We percolate love through our society in the form of, well, if you identify on the same side, we won't bash your head in with the hammer. We won't call you a terrorist or a danger, and we won't attempt to lock you away on some, random charge we're going to conjure up. Yeah. 4 U.S. citizens were kidnapped. We all know that. I covered that. By the way, we did discover that one individual was going there and needed comfort buddies, so she took 3 comfort buddies. She was going there to have a tummy tuck. Well, kudos to you. You are one of the ones that survived, and now your pals are dead for the most part. And scarred for life. I mean, mentally scarred. It's like a war veteran. I mean, he shot at, kidnapped over a tummy tuck. We have grade A facilities here, lady, that you could have just gone to, but instead you're trying to save a buck because you took out a mortgage from a shark lender, not a mortgage, sorry, a personal loan from a shark lender, probably. These are not facts, I'm just blabbing, and you were on a budget. First off, sit-ups, control your sugar intake. And I mean, I know I'm not one to talk. I've got love handles that probably extend 4 or 5 inches at this point. And I know I'm not in shape. But still, it's fun to make fun of fat people. But moving on, back on topic, right? Because I can get lost. The citizens were not in Mexico buying illegal drugs. One was going for a tummy tuck. I just covered that. Don't know why I'm saying it again. I read a separate article. I didn't know that was in this sentence. I should really read some of these before I start broadcasting. But I really love to just be in the moment and discover it with you. They were almost immediately over the border from the U.S. and were kidnapped right away. Hey, why not? You're white and you are coming from America. The cartel thinks they might be able to get some ransom money out of your family because everyone over there thinks that we are rich. What a weird mindset. It's like 90 Day Fiancé, right? They marry these people who want to come over and they see white American, whether it's male or female, and they think money. Because that's like broadcasted over there. That is what they think is normal, that everybody here has money, we all have big homes. According to Mexican authorities, the citizens found alive will be given medical treatment, and once they are deemed healthy enough to travel, they will be brought back to the United States. Man, I feel sorry for you. That's bad. Getting medical... I know she went there for medical treatment. It's just the thought of being treated at a Mexican facility is just not my cup of tea. While this kidnapping is terrifying and raises serious questions about the safety of our border, the Biden administration has been nothing but weak on the matter. That is also nothing new. The Biden administration is weak on everything that matters. They are weak on absolutely everything that matters when it pertains to American citizens. But if you're Ukrainian, we'll back your pension. We'll start a war with Russia. If you're American, well, we know that your pensions are at risk because most of them are in BlackRock and highly invested in China, but we don't give a shit. We're not going to federally back them because you're a white racist. Get it through your head. Even though a lot of those pensions are from hard-working African American and minority groups, I guarantee you, but they lump us all into a group. Now, I'm not racist, okay? But man, at a certain point, if they keep calling us, we might as well demonstrate what real racism is, and maybe it will drive it through their fucking skull and they'll stop saying that every single fucking white person is a fucking racist. I highly fucking doubt it, though. They seem to love to spread that butter all over that white bagel. That was a really weird thing to say. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, moving on, because we can't cut that shit out, unfortunately. So whatever I say tends to stick on these live formats. Joe Biden should give a couple of minutes to at least speak to the nation about this, but he won't because it doesn't matter. This is exactly what he wants. Remember, Build Back Better is the talking point. It is the slogan of the World Economic Forum and the global agenda. They use that everywhere. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll keep preaching it because they are after something here, and it's the destruction of the Western world. Because without the destruction of us, without the destruction of America, the Western world, their plan won't work. They need America to fall. America needs to be on its knees in order for them to be able to pull off this agenda. It's what's got to happen for them. But, you know, Joe Biden will never admit anything. He will never bring light to any situation that contradicts what they're putting out from the queer black lady on the podium, his spokesperson that is a Babylon full worse than me and needs a Rolodex full of names, numbers, and a binder full of information that is prepared by someone else. She doesn't even take the time to look through it to understand where some of the key talking points might be within the binder. No. Not Jean-Pierre, whatever the fuck her name is. I jacked it up, don't care. Fuck off in the comments. I'm sick of YouTube already. Piece of shit. We had to create a whole new channel because we got banned on the other one. So we just created another one. We haven't re-uploaded everything to that, but it's not hard to get banned from there, especially when you do a partial blackface in a comedy format. I mean, holy shit, they didn't pay attention to any of the other colors prior. They focused on the color black. Crap. But Levin gave some remarks and continued by saying, if we don't take a pound of flesh here, and I'm not very serious about this, and I'm very serious about this, you're going to see more and more of this take place. Right. So what he's saying is, we cannot stand idly by while the cartel kidnaps American citizens and not strike back and take our pound of flesh and make a point. Right? You know, it's just like all the Americans left in Afghanistan. You think any American who's wise, who's intelligent, is going to now go over there? No, because they know they can do whatever they want to an American citizen, and America will not say a word because everything's hush-hush. Right? They don't care about Americans. What they care about is migrants. They care about any minority more than they do Americans, especially white Americans. Because there is a great transition taking place. Another aspect of the World Economic Forum is the Great Replacement theory, and anyone who says that's false here, delusional. But yes, that is what is poppin'. Okay? Now, what do you think when you find a body in carpet and plastic? Would you think foul play? I'll tell you, I don't really think it's normal to find a body in plastic and carpet. Now, I understand no flesh wounds. I understand no physical appearance of trauma is displayed or presented on the body of this man. But still, something obviously happened, because I don't really think corpses have the tendency or the capability of wrapping themselves up quite thoroughly in two different materials and then chucking themselves off the side of the road, all the while they dropped their wallet about 5 miles back. Doesn't make much sense, but according to Louisiana, Baton Rouge Police Department, yeah, no foul play for this poor fella. Missing Georgia father of 5 found dead, rolled up in plastic and carpet. Police say no foul play. That is very interesting. How would that be? 42-year-old Nathan Millard from Covington, Georgia, went missing after he visited Happy Irish Pub across from the hotel on the night of February 22nd. Millard's wife told WSB-TV that he had gone to a college basketball game before heading to the bar. He was at that game with a client. He was attempting, I'm sure, to partner in some kind of business sense with that individual. But unfortunately for him, something went completely sideways, and they give no information. And you know what? If an update isn't proposed here shortly, maybe we should call the Baton Rouge Police Department and find out just how does it make sense to not think this is foul. Clearly something happened. It's foul play even if the guy fell over from the COVID jab dead in front of you, and instead of calling the ambulance, you now wrap up his body very thoroughly and took the time to chuck it off the side of the road. That would be considered foul play, even to me. I mean, still, come on. His body was later found on the side of the road behind a funeral home 6 miles away from the last place it was seen. He was wrapped in plastic inside of carpet. Police said there were no signs of blunt force trauma or gunshot wounds on the body. They are taking a toxicology report to check that out. Again, even if he just fell over dead from a COVID jab or some kind of natural internal trauma, it's still foul play to not report the death of this fella. You don't think his family was worried about him? It's messed up. We don't have any indication there was any foul play involved, said Captain Kevin Hines of the Violent Crime Unit, Baton Rouge Police. We are looking into how he ended up where he was. What a strange comment. I mean, we're looking into how we ended up there, but no other evidence has been presented or is visible on his body to suggest otherwise. But we really don't care that he was strangely wrapped up in carpet and plastic. So stop asking questions. That's how that comes across. How freaking strange. You know, I really would like to talk to his family and find out just exactly what was going on. What kind of business venture was he involved in, uh, that he decided to go out to the bar after the game? Was he there with his business, uh, for business purposes? Was he trying to get the poor bastard drunk? Did something happen? Did they get in a feud? Something clearly went wrong. Maybe somebody drugged him with the roofie with the intent to ass rape him, and then just discovered that he had HIV and was no good, and just decided to suffocate him with some plastic. I don't know. Anyways, that was the dumbest rant. What a stupid thing to say. Looking for a new way to get out of your pickle? Looking for a way to get out of that rock in a hard place? Well, I'll tell you what. America is full of, just people full of ingenuity. Man, when you are trying to think of how can I get out of death row? Okay, now not too many people think about that, because after the appeal process is done, you kind of just accept the fucking that you're in. Right? You're there for a reason. Especially when you kill your kids and you cut off their heart. You're evil, you're demonic. But this particular fella was really curious about how he could save his own life. Forget his children that God told him to kill. No, he's worried about himself. He was worried that maybe, I can save myself the experience of hell. So he found a way out of it, and it seems to be working quite well for him. Death row inmate delays execution, potentially permanently removing his death row sentence because he's got some people on his side. He doesn't have the state prosecutor on his side, but he does have some people backing him up. He gouged out his own eyes. 2 separate occasions. The last occasion, he decided to take a nibble. Decided to consume one of his eyes. The little bit that he got out. So take a look at this man. Take a look at that face. You can kind of see the progression. Okay? So I think it was like in 1997 or something to that effect. He killed his children, his wife, girlfriend. Can't remember. I read this a couple days ago. And then throughout the process of awaiting his execution and his appeal failures, he decided, I'm going to gouge out one eye, try to get out of it that way, but it didn't work. So this brave motherfucker, who really has a great pain tolerance threshold, went for it again. And this time, you can see he went a little better. He went a little better. He got a little bit more out. He really gouged in there and decided to eat some of it. The scheduled execution of a Texas man on death row was delayed by a judge after the inmate's attorney said he gouged out both of his eyes due to a mental illness, which does not exist in his case. He is mentally deluded. He knows what he's doing, though. That's my point. Each eye was gouged out on a separate occasion, according to ABC 6 Columbus. The prisoner's attorney says that his reason for eating the second eye was to ensure that the government could not hear his thoughts. So you big bad government, how dare you listen to his thoughts through his eyeball? Yeah, I didn't know eyes were a talking piece. Ooh, this guy is a little nuts, but I think he's also putting on a little show. A man named Andre Thomas was scheduled to be executed after fatally stabbing his estranged wife in 2004, sorry for the date mix-up, and cutting out the hearts of their children. One was 4, one was 13 months old, because God told him to commit the murders because his family members were demons. They were all demons, his estranged wife and his 2 innocent, non-demonic children. Thomas's attorney, Marie Levin, believes the execution would indeed violate the Constitution, saying that guiding the blind psychotic man to a gurney for execution offends our senses of humanity and serves no legitimate purpose Well, Miss Levin, I fully disagree because it serves many purposes, one of which is, and I'll say it twice, is removing an evil, demonic, sick, child-murdering individual from our society. I know he's locked up behind bars. That's one purpose. It serves a very good, that's the main purpose. It's a very good purpose to kill him. Second is it saves us money. Third, it saves us any more exposure to his nonsense. But let me also tell you this. Sense of humanity for an individual, whether he repented of his crimes and his sins or not, for that individual I have no sense of humanity. He needs to be murdered. He needs to be removed. He needs to be sent to hell immediately. Immediately, lady. There is no sense of humanity for him and people like him. You offend my senses by suggesting that I should look past what he did to his children, 4 years old and a 13-month-old. You offend my senses by suggesting that I should look past that. Forget that. I don't care if it was over a decade ago. It's sick, it's demonic, and he needs to be removed from this world and cast to hell by God's holy hand with a little help from the state of Texas. However, Carrie Ashmore with the Grayson County District Attorney Office disagrees. Thank you, Carrie. Ashmore says that faith leaders and others asking for clemency are simply missing key facts on the case and have not read any of the prisoner's mental evaluations. None of these people know anything about the case. They are parroting, like the left likes to do, what the defense has told them. They are unwilling to think for themselves. That's my words, not his. We're willing for the process to happen and let a judge make the decision. That's all we want, Ashmore said. Great, let the process play out. But someone in the psych ward that he lands up in should strangle this motherfucker. But yes, Thomas's attorney described him as one of the most mentally ill prisoners in Texas history. I'm sure that's an exaggeration because he's putting on a show, lady. Come on. Give me a break. Alright, guys, quick break.
This is a war on religion. This is a war on the children. They give you the cure with the sickness. This is a war on tradition. This is a war on religion. This is a war on the children. They give you the cure with the sickness. This is a war. This is a war.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Joey D broadcast. I am so happy if you are still here with us, and if you see me kind of gazing around at certain things at certain times, my eye might be catching people that are moving in the background. So anyways, what did you think about COVID? Okay, forget the lockdowns. Forget the lockdowns and the complete arbitrary rules and regulations. Forget the authoritarian overreaches. What did you think about the free money? I will not lie, that part I thought it was nice to finally get something from the government. Now, I completely understood the financial repercussions in the form of inflation, but like most people, the government was going to do it anyways, and if they were going to do it, regardless of the outcome, even if I didn't take it, it wasn't going to stop the inflation. It was still going to occur because they were going to hand it out, and millions of other Americans were going to accept the money. Now, why am I bringing this up? Why am I going on this little tangent? Well, it's because some people took it to the extreme. You had unemployment fraud, sure, but even back when we thought that was extreme, you know, people always managed to jump to the next level of extreme. Now, again, I took the free money, like most people did. It was great. We got a little something back, and now we're all paying for it. But there, again, nothing we were going to do was going to stop it. But these correction officers who were caught stealing from taxpayers, essentially, because they accepted full salary while purporting, allegedly, to have faked all illness and injuries during the COVID extravaganza. I mean, so They took it to a new level, and this is allegedly, okay? Fair trial, I still believe in all of that, innocent until proven guilty, but the accusation is this. 3 former New York City correctional officers have pled guilty to fraud after it was revealed that they were fraudulently, sorry, apparently I didn't get great sleep last night, but we can't undo my misspeaks, receiving their salaries while absent from work despite being able to work. According to the Department of Justice, all 3 defendants face a maximum of 10 years in prison for stealing taxpayer funds from the New York City Department of Corrections. Documents presented at the guilty plea proceedings showed that one of the city employees accepted over $139,000 while on sick leave for nearly 2 years. That's a hell of a salary. From March 2021 till November 2022, the man submitted over 100 fraudulent medical notes and was caught after subpoenas proved that he did not attend any of his physical therapy appointments and engage in normal life activities with no apparent level of difficulty. Well, okay. I'm not going to go bashing the fella or the female in this situation, and I think there's another third. Yeah, there's a second male, so 2 males and a female, 2 of which were in a relationship. A female corrections officer made over $80,000 from March 21 to April 22 and had submitted 50 fraudulent medical notes. The woman claimed to have multiple injuries but was shown to have been traveling. She attended parties and she claimed to be injured at home. Authorities determined she was able to work at the time. Well, no shit, Sherlock. The third person pled guilty, who was also the female officer's fiance, took even more unearned salary. I wonder if they'll stay together in their maximum penalty of 10 years, up to 10 years in prison. This individual took $119,000 over the period of June to October 2022. So that's June 2021 to October of 2022. That's approximately 16 months. Video and photographic evidence showed the man performing home improvement work, bowling, and traveling abroad. So he went international. That's great. Without having any difficulty or help from equipment like orthopedic boot, sling, or cane, which he used while attending his check-ins. Ooh, man. If you're going to that level, you got to keep it up in public. People do follow suspected cases of fraud. They do use cameras. They record. The defendants have admitted to stealing taxpayer funds by collecting their full salaries while falsely claiming they were too sick to work. So there's your lesson, kids, boys and girls. Don't go to that level of fraud. Commit just a weensy bit of fraud. Not a lot of it. Just a weensy bit. Okay? I mean, jeez. Shit, man. Maybe you would have gotten away with, 6, 7, 8 months. 16 months, 2 years, man. Whew. You were asking to be caught. How long did you think that was going to go on? I mean, clearly, you thought that was going to go on for a couple more years. That's a dumb thought. Vancouver dad protects kids from that weird gender ideology as a human billboard. Kudos to you. Talking truth on the street is not easy. I think Steven Crowder has demonstrated that to us plenty of times. It is honestly anymore a very dangerous activity to go out in the streets and kind of voice your opinion if you are not in the same realm as these whack jobs on the left. And he's doing it in a very left place, Vancouver. A Vancouver dad was shocked when he heard that puberty blockers were being prescribed to kids with gender dysphoria. This gender dysphoria that he's referring to oftentimes is kind of encouraged, and it's fertilized by the school districts. They kind of implant it, and they spread fertilizer in the form of brainwashing, and these kids end up kind of grabbing onto this weird dysphoric mindset that they are not in the right body and they need to cut off their tits and their bits. So this is not a kind of organic dysphoria. This is a planted dysphoria. This is a very well cultivated dysphoria in your children. That's why my kids do not go to public school and never will. A father of 2 young daughters, Chris Elston, concern led an investigation which led to his conclusion that no science was behind this at all, and ain't that the truth. So he followed his dad's instincts to protect his kids. That is what a father is for. And going back to my earlier rant about the Twitter lady who doesn't like alpha males, that is exactly why males should be alpha males, to protect your children. When you have kids, you'll find that they want nothing more than to play with their father, their mother. But more than anything, the father's role is to protect, defend, feed, clothe, and then play, then nurture. It's the mother's main role to nurture the children. Now, I'm not saying that a father should never sit down, play with his kids, and have a fun time. No, I'm saying that the main role is to defend. That's what an alpha male does. It's what a father should do. Shouldn't cut out their hearts, shouldn't drown them, shouldn't burn them to death in an oven, like some of these sick, weak beta males have done in the past. Anyways, continuing the story. When his efforts to vocalize his views on the street billboard in Vancouver were frustrated, his only option was to go out and become a human billboard. Donning a sandwich signboard, he hit the streets to have conversation with regular people. Having spoken with some 11,000 people, he says 90% agree with his message. The other 10% were hoodwinked by propaganda that preys on people with natural compassion and nurturing instincts, and that would be your blonde, white homesteaders. I mean, also the blue hair freaks that run around too, but, the white women really have bought into this nonsense. They say that if you don't transition children, they will kill themselves. Therefore, we need to sterilize them or they'll die. That's an interesting mindset, and that's also very wrong, because a majority of transitioned individuals will sooner or later kill themselves. There's actually a brilliant young lady, and she did transition to a boy, but nonetheless, that for her fell apart, and she realized the unfortunate avenue she took. She's now speaking out. She now re-identifies as a woman and says that the institution really kind of helped push her in that direction, just like this father is saying the school district has done. She had a great interview with Glenn Beck on the Glenn Beck program, and that is found on Blaze Media, where she described in great detail the harm that was done to her and was pushed upon her by the institutions, both medical, educational. So that mindset that they're going to die if we don't sterilize them, no, that's not accurate, and it's all a demonic push to head towards the great deceiver, the Antichrist, and also other just worldly messed up views. He said there are no studies in kids on this, but we know that with adults, 10 years after transitioning is when suicides peak. They are 19.1 times more likely to commit suicide than their peers after adjusting for similar mental health comorbidities. Okay, so what he's saying is exactly what I just referenced, and what I referenced is very, very old knowledge. It's why this transitioning, I'm in the wrong body, I need to transform into a freak mindset used to be considered a mental health disorder. Used to be considered a mental health disorder, folks. I don't know why we are on this path, other than it's just pure demonic bullshit. I mean, let's get it through our heads. It's weird. It's not right. It's very strange. Do you think the government has your best interest at heart? I don't think so. I think the government is untrustworthy. I think the government is probably more so out to get you. And I'm not just being silly. I really do think they're out to get the majority of Americans, especially ones that identify as conservative. What they are worried about, because it will affect their CBDC narrative, is FDIC takes control of any bank after its collapse. They do this repeatedly. However, this bank is in Silicon Valley, and I'm sure, and I have not read this article yet, but I am sure it has heavily invested in big tech. So I don't think the government is concerned with anything except for their own kind. And that would be big tech, the marriage between companies and government. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the same people who mistakenly mentioned during a live broadcast that they need to prepare the American people for a bail-in, and that is where they take money out of your account to I don't know, put a finger in the dike of the big banks that are failing. So these are the same people. They have assumed control of a Silicon Valley bank, SVB, to protect depositors from losing all of their money after it was closed by the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. Now, the one thing I want to touch on here before we continue the story is the fact that the FDIC has way more, and I'm talking substantial more in debt. And when I say debt, we mean protections that they offer to depositors. They don't have enough to cover it. We're talking trillions of dollars covered, with maybe a couple billion to actually facilitate some kind of insurance towards those debts that they've protected. They are not in a financial position to guarantee the entire nation's financial sovereignty in the case of fraud or collapse. And a collapse is coming. I'm almost positive of that. You got Bank of America going on and on about a 2023 disaster. All right, we're going to be in for a hell of a negative experience. I would not be surprised if I lose most of my assets. Just saying. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be in that boat. I would not be surprised if I was one of them. Because like most people, you have debt, right? I have debt, right? And if things go south and I lose my income, yeah, I mean, I'm going to lose my car, blah, blah, blah. You know, okay, I guess I have to walk, and maybe that will help me lose a couple pounds. The collapse of the California bank is the largest bank failure since the Washington Mutual in 2008. Well, think about it. Democrat, collapse, 2008. Again, Democrat, and we're heading towards a collapse. Now, I understand that Trump gave the cash, but also, I mean, think about it. If you were in his shoes, I mean, there was going to be nothing he could do to stop it either way. Gobbleneck McConnell would have pushed forward anyways. It would have gotten done either way. So, I mean, he just went with the tide. So, yes, we kickstarted inflation, but Biden made it substantially worse. I mean, it is... Trump had it under control. Biden, he triggered the economic collapse that is coming our way. The FDIC set up a so-called bridge bank, the Deposit Insurance National Bank of Santa Clara. Santa Clara. Got that right. Woohoo, good for me, I can read. And as the receiver transferred all of the insured deposits of SVB there, and so all insured assets up to $250,000 coverage limit are safe and will be accessible to depositors starting March 13th. Although the main office and all branches of SVB will reopen at the beginning of next week, the DINB will now control and manage operations. The official coverage limit is $250,000 per depositor per insured bank for each account ownership category. So some depositors could potentially have more than $250,000 insured. Depends on if they have more than one account, and I surely hope that they do, because if you had all of your cash in the form of millions stacked into one account, you are screwed. Because a lot of people may not understand that what a bank does with your deposit is they take your deposit. They don't keep it on hand. They take it and they fund mortgages, they fund auto loans, personal loans, credit card debt with that money that you deposited. Then when you make a request for withdrawal, they're giving you someone else's money because your money's tied up, and that goes for everyone. It's a huge circle, right? So they don't ever have your money on hand. It's not like they take your money and put it into a, empty little slot where all my money is just kept nice and safe. No, they use that. They turn it around, invest in other loans and notes alike. It's just like my institution. I belong to a credit union. If I were to want a large amount of cash out, I actually have to give a notice because they don't have that kind of cash on hand. So they've got to get a notice. I've got to put a notice in. Then they'll give me my, I think anything over $5,000 really is, and they're not small. It's just they don't have the money on hand because they're constantly making new notes. So future dividend payments may be made to uninsured depositors while the FDIC sells off assets of SVB. So yes, you have banks collapsing. This won't be the first. I think credit unions will be the last one standing. They are still insured, but nonetheless, I think they'll be the last one standing because all these banks are on a left trajectory because they are publicly traded or they have investors like BlackRock piling their hands into the mix. So they're taking that mindset, that left mindset, and they're plowing forward. Thank you, Tucker Carlson, for your fantastic footage on January 6th and the revelation that they were indeed up to some shenanigans with that huge display that they were broadcasting all over everybody's televisions, and that it was nothing but deceit, as we all knew. But on the point of January 6th, the Proud Boys trial paused as defendant attorney alleges FBI altered evidence. That is also very true. There was substantial evidence to suggest that the FBI was not only trying to fraudulently pin crimes on the Proud Boys on January 6th, but they also did so when they were mostly posing as Proud Boys in the back of a box van. I think there was only 2 real Proud Boys in that, and the rest of them were FBI informants. So they've been trying to target the Proud Boys because they want you to think that they stand for something they don't. I like the Proud Boys. I think they have largely a good mission. They're largely peaceful. They're just freedom lovers. The trial of Dominic Pizzella, perhaps, one of the defendants of the January 6, 2021 Capitol breach, was paused on Thursday. I don't like how they phrased it as a Capitol breach. This is from the Epoch Times because it's not a breach if you are let in. So I would highly suggest they change that word choice. It was paused on Thursday due to classified FBI messages revealed in court, which the defense attorney says show the FBI agents discussing altering of evidence. Yeah, buddy, that happens all the time if you're conservative. They find a way to nail you into that coffin. They will fuck you into that coffin by any means necessary. They are depraved individuals. Make no mistake, they're not out for your protection. They're not out to make sure you're safe and Mr. and Mrs. America are enjoying their freedom. No, they're out to strip Mr. and Mrs. America of your freedom and put you into a control grid that is set and laid already. They just need to pull the string, the fabric of America, to make it all fall apart so they can bring in their new system. It's all there ready and waiting. They just need to collapse America as we know it. And they're working on it. And this is just another way that they're working on it. The corruption of our law enforcement across the board. The spectrum is all corrupt anymore. But yeah, there are a couple of emails between FBI agents casually discussing altering a document and destroying hundreds of thousands of evidence pieces. It's very disturbing, and right now we have more questions than answers. And come on, buddy, you ain't going to get any answers. They're going to burn the computers if that's what it takes. They're going to throw them in the Hudson River if that's what it takes. They will never answer your questions and bring their sins to the light. Remember, anything evil happens behind closed doors. So all these closed door meetings, nothing good is happening behind those. If the public can't hear it, it's not good. Anything good always happens in the light. They're not going to want to display what they've been doing for the American public, much like the Democrats are all in a rage because Tucker Carlson released, thanks to McCarthy, the January 6th footage, and we will also have that publicly as well. So McCarthy's team is sifting through, along with the Capitol Police, that footage to see what they can release publicly. And that is a concern. I even believe it's a concern because you don't want certain security parameters being displayed for public view. Okay, so we have good footage coming to us. I'm sure we're going to be able to see exactly what Tucker's team combed through. So that's concerning. We have agents, and we always knew this, but it's always concerning when you actually get to see in detail what they're up to. While we're on the topic of people up to no good, why don't we touch on the weird, creepy elf man, Bill Gates? Bill Gates admits cold truth about climate change. You mean the thing that doesn't exist because you tried global cooling, then global warming, and then just generically summed it up as climate change because you realized neither were true, but you still wanted to hold on to that narrative because fear is a great driver, right? Billionaire Bill Gates dismissed the possibility of people making significant changes to their lifestyle, like giving up meat and becoming vegetarians for the sake of countering the alleged effects of climate change because those farting cows that are expelling CO2 in the atmosphere are just so damn dangerous. I don't think we can count on people living a impoverished lifestyle as a solution to climate change. I don't think we can count on them living an impoverished lifestyle because I won't be. No, that's why their plan is to kill you. You think that you think that they're gonna let's put it this way. Do you think that they believe that they're going to force the country as it stands, the population as it stands, in the number that it currently sits? No. They recognize that. That's why they're moving forward with these soft kills, and they're going to slowly eliminate the population as it currently sits. And then once they have that done, then they can put everybody into their 15-minute cities and their 280 square foot apartments. If you survive their absolute tyranny, then you'll just get more of it. No, he knows that, and then you'll eat that. They literally, on the World Economic Forum, they have calorie thresholds. You will not be able to surpass this ceiling, right? So if you're a woman, this is what you get. If you're a man, this is what you get. And you also get weekly, monthly allotments of their meat and dairy. In fact, the ideal number of meat and dairy is 0. So they eventually want to get you to 0, even though that's completely healthy for you, but that's the problem. It creates a strong individual. If you are well nourished and you're not eating fake meats filled with chemicals and all sorts of other crap that's not good for you, well, then you're strong. But if you're consuming that stuff, you're not going to be strong. You won't even live as long. But yeah, he don't think he can count on us to live an impoverished lifestyle. Love his word choice. Gates said at an event in India on March 1st, that meat consumption in India will be less. That's wonderful. Will all Indians become vegetarians? Will all Americans become vegetarians? I wouldn't want to count on it. Anybody who wants to evangelize that, well, they're welcome to try. I won't resist in any way. Of course he won't, because that's exactly what he wants. Gates had earlier pushed for rich nations to adopt 100% synthetic beef that is made from plant proteins like beans or peas, carbs like potato starch, fat and canola or coconut oil, minerals and flavorings. Yeah, those flavorings, that's chemicals. So let's also touch on this. What do potatoes need to grow? Well, they need land and lots of it. But the problem is their green agenda is going to consume so much real estate, there won't be any land to grow potatoes. So then they're going to turn those potatoes into genetically modified potatoes that will also just be an additional layer of something that is not healthy for you going into your body. So that is fan-freaking-tastic. This guy is an evil, demonic genius. But he's also relatively stupid in the same sense that he believes we'll fall for it. In an online interaction with Reddit in January, Gates pushed for the widespread adoption of plant-based meat proteins. Keep in mind he has large investments in both of the biggest fake meat lineups. I can't believe it's not beef or some shit like that. Impossible Beef. For people who want to go vegan, that is great, but I don't think most people will do that. There are companies making beef in new ways and people working to still use cows but reduce the methane emissions. It's not even a big deal. I don't know why they think it's such a damn big deal that cows fart and they produce methane. Stupid. I have backed a number of innovators in this space, including Beyond and Impossible. and Memphis. I think that eventually these products will be very good, even though their share is small today. See, I don't think so, because I think the more people that wake up and realize what you are pushing for is detrimental to their health and safety, I think they're going to back off of it. I think once they realize that the meat that they are consuming is absolutely not good for you, that the oils you use are actually crazy bad for your health, I think they're going to start backing off. Much like the COVID shot, right? You have a lot of people backing off nowadays. They realize it is not good. His push to move away from meat consumption and adopt plant-based alternatives, as he is busy buying up farmland in America. Yeah, that comes as he's busy buying up your farmland because he will restrict what can graze on his property. He's not up to anything good, fellas. This is not doing this just because he wants to be a farmer. He's a control freak. So let's move into the next section of this article, which is energy consumption. At the India event, Gates also talked about energy consumption. He pointed out that if governments are willing to implement tough laws, air conditioning can simply be banned, which would be good for the climate. However, he admitted that this would not happen as warmer climates will keep raising the demand for cooling. You think this weird, dumb fuck would ever give up his air conditioning in one of his many mansions? You think that he would give it up in one of his 13 private jets? The answer's no. Anybody who supports this freak, you are stupid, because he's advocating for your death. Meanwhile, he's going to be in the lap of luxury. And cooled, we might add. But as India gets warmer and warmer, and see, that's also another lie, because fundamentally, through science, okay, the Earth is actually in a cooling cycle right now. I think it's something like 3 degrees over the start of the study to now. It's 3 degrees cooler. So go fuck yourself, Bill Gates. It's not getting warmer. Maybe in India they're having a hot spell, but the Earth as a whole, it's becoming cooler. You people are so full of lies, but you still keep pushing forward. There is no shame with you freaks. But he goes on to say, as India gets warmer and warmer, I'm going to bet the demand for air conditioning is going to skyrocket. Yeah. Wow. No wonder you didn't graduate high school. You put those puzzle pieces together? Who helped you, mommy? Come on. The country that has the most air conditioning by far is the United States. Even Europe doesn't have what we have. And so, as it gets hotter, you demand more electricity, which is, it's not green, and then you're in a positive feedback loop. Dude, your solar panel battery system, your windmills, they're not green either. It's all an investment strategy. It's a narrative to line the pockets of the investors of those technologies to get even richer while we suffer. Jeez, dude. Gates also pointed out that most of the demand for more energy, cement, steel, is coming from the middle-income nations like India, and that's why they target middle-income families. Where even if you stop at, say, a quarter of American energy intensity, that climate change is still very dramatic. He is such a fool. He's not even intelligent. In fact, there's a report that was done that the system, the software used to basically start Microsoft wasn't even his development. He literally took someone else's product, changed it, tweaked it just a little, and then published it as Microsoft, patented it so they couldn't say it was theirs. He changed just a little bit. So he's not the genius everybody thinks he is, and you can really kind of tell that just by the way he talks. It's like listening to me. Do I sound like a genius? No, I sound fundamentally retarded. I have no foundation of intellect at all. The Microsoft co-founder also suggested that even in the United States, even when the United States uses half as much energy per person, it would be unjust to ask India to maintain consumption at its current level. According to our world in data, energy use per person in the United States was 76,634 kilowatt hours in 2021, which is close to 11 times India's energy consumption. Now, I do wonder if those numbers ramped up because everybody was still kind of stuck inside working from home in 2021. So maybe they chose that year because it seemed higher, or it was higher than normal. The climate change agenda is the next bullet point in this article. Last year, Patrick Moore, one of the founders of Greenpeace, claimed that climate change is based on false narratives. Yes, you are right. You are right, Mr. Patrick Moore. In an email obtained by the Epoch Times, Moore, who left the organization back in 1986, said that Greenpeace was hijacked by the political left when it became aware of the money and power involved in the environment movement. And that is absolutely correct. Again, I think I said it a little bit ago. This entire environmentalist movement is all an investment opportunity. It is a money-making scheme. The environmental movement has become more of a political movement than an environmental movement, and you can tell that by the simple fact that these windmills chop birds into little pieces. That's the ecosystem, right? It's part of the ecosystem. They will remove 100 and some thousand protected turtles, endangered turtles, from California land just to put in a solar farm, and then every last one of those turtles died. Then those birds who fly over that massive solar farm burst into flames because of the intense heat that is being reverberated off of those solar panels. The reflection of the sun causes intense heat, in case you didn't know. Yeah. No, absolutely. They don't, it's just a scam. The people who don't see the contradictions, the hypocrisy, it's mind-blowing. In June last year, the Independent Foundation of Climate Change received signatures from over 1,100 scientists and professionals worldwide for its climate change declaration. Its climate declaration stating that there is no climate emergency. I got to look into that. I did not know about that till just now. That is good information. In an interview with the Epoch Times, Marcel Kroc told the founder of Clintel. Sorry for my Shatner-esque interruptions. It is hard to correct when you are doing this in a live fashion. Said that even if it is accepted that carbon dioxide is the main driver of the current climate change, there is still no climate emergency. We simply state all the evidence so far indicates that the increase of CO2 and the increase in temperature are not harmful for us or for nature, and therefore the climate hysteria surrounding the topic is totally unjustified, and the cure of getting rid of fossil fuels ASAP and replacing them with renewables will probably be worse than the disease, being climate change. Yeah, he makes some very good points. And they're accurate points. They're based in fact and science. Except for the increase in temperature, it depends on how he's looking at the data, the aggregated data. Because if he's looking at it as a whole, let's say from the past 100 years, okay, maybe there is an increase. But if you're looking at it, again, about 3-year period, we're actually in a cooling cycle. Okay, and the Earth had tremendous amounts of CO2 before humans were ever here running about gallivanting with our technologies and our emissions. We have actually decreased the level of CO2 and all the other crap that they go on about. Are you one of those weird TikTok users? Well, if so, get ready to cry some liberal tears. Because the White House reverses course, gives Congress green light to pass bill banning TikTok. Do you want to know why that is, you liberal freak? Because TikTok is owned by China, and they are using it as a measure to spy on you and get a little bit more of a solid understanding about what drives a liberal wacko. It's like that weird-ass lady I watched on there who just kept going, whack. But she did it with a better quacky sound. I can't really do it. Washington, the White House, has reversed a direction this week saying it would support a Senate bill that would outlaw TikTok in the United States. Wow, is Joe Biden getting some balls against China? Or is this a political move gearing up for the 2024 presidential election? Because maybe they realize they can't steal this one. They'll still steal it. The Biden administration had been at a standstill for 2 years over how to deal with the threat to national security posed by the Chinese-owned mobile app that would be TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. QS National Security Advisor, this bullshit motherfucker Jake Sullivan, he's nothing but a hack, on Tuesday welcomed a bipartisan bill that would allow the Biden administration to ban the video sharing app. And for those of you who don't know, there is some speculation that Jake Sullivan is actually the man behind the scene, the puppet master, who is just another puppet for other people. But they do believe, some individuals are under the assumption that Jake Sullivan is actually the president behind the scenes. I personally think it's probably Obama. And yes, I'm one of those weirdos who believe that. This legislation would empower the United States government to prevent certain foreign governments from exploiting technology services operating in the United States in a way that poses risk to Americans' sensitive data and our national security, he said in a statement. We look forward to continuing working with both Democrats and Republicans on this bill, and that's probably the Rhino Republicans because he doesn't want anything to do with actual conservatives, and urge Congress to act quickly to send it to the president's desk. On Tuesday, Senators Mark Warner, Democrat, Virginia, and John Thune, Republican, South Dakota, introduced a measure called the Restricting the Emergencies of Security Threats that risk information and communications technology. Holy shit! What a name, Batman! Holy fuck! I thought I was gonna have a mental conniption there. I thought you were gonna fucking see smoke and flames shoot out of my damn ear holes. Gosh damn, that was hard for me to spit out. The bipartisan bill is the most recent proposal that seeks to fully outlaw the app due to mounting concerns that it could be used to spy on the Americans. And this is an old concern. I don't know why they're acting like it's new. This has been a concern for years. Last week, a Republican-sponsored bill with similar goals passed the House Foreign Affairs Committee on a party line vote. That's good. At least we're getting somewhere. For the past 2 years, the Biden administration has been trying to find ways to address the threat posed by TikTok, the most popular mobile app among teens in the country, with roughly 100 million monthly active users. That's a tremendous amount. I'm hoping Rumble can get there. Because I think we're at about 31 million users. In December of 2022, President Joe Biden signed legislation prohibiting federal workers from using TikTok on government devices. In addition, at least 30 states have been taken action against the popular app, either by prohibiting its use on government devices or by bringing lawsuits against. Alright, so that is really good news because I cannot wait to see the Tweeny Bop tears flow through as they realize that the majority of hours and hours spent on TikTok are no longer going to be available. Maybe they will all transition over to Twitter, where now there's a fair playing field and we can broadcast our right message to them, much like the LGBT community does to us and our children. However, critics of China's ruling Communist Party, CCP, in Congress have long argued that TikTok should be completely banned in the United States. Fears that the app's Chinese owner, Beijing-based ByteDance, has access to personal information about millions of American users are behind the current backlash against TikTok. That is good. We are on the right path. I hope we continue that. We need to absolutely crush the CCP's influence here in America, take away their police stations that are here in America, take away any control measures that they have over our freedom-loving population. So let's jump into our last topic of the day, and this last topic is basically just the bizarre reaction of the left and their belief in fundamental racism that exists, doesn't really, but in their mind it does, that is just systemic and it exists in our society. So when an ESPN host states that, well, basically there's just racism in the NBA, and really across the board is what he's getting at, and the panel is 80% white that votes on who is the best player, and he was getting at more than that, but that's the gist of what he was saying. What do they do when there's backlash? Do they force the black male to come out and apologize and say, no, I was wrong? No, because he wasn't white. No, instead what they do is they send a white woman to inform everyone that our apologies, what the black male host said was actually wrong. ESPN issues correction after analyst ESPN issues correction after analysis falsely claims MVP panel is 80% white. You can see here, it is a white woman giving apologies for a black man's statements, because that is the way we roll now. There is no There is no pride anymore on the behalf of this man and most men. Nope, they stand behind a woman. How brave. ESPN host Molly Quirm issued a correction on behalf of the network after one of its hosts, Kendrick Perkins, implied that the panelists who vote for the NBA's most valuable player awarded are biased towards white players because he said the panel is 80% white. On the show First Take, where Perkins spoke, Quirm said, "I want to correct something here from yesterday's show. When Kendrick Perkins said 80% of the NBA voters for the MVP award are white, the NBA publicly announces the voters each year. And after review, it's clear the panel is much more diverse." So we'll play the video. Just watch how ridiculous this man sounds, and then have yourself an epic freaking week.
I want to just say something. Stephen A., I mean no offense to you, and I mean no offense to First Take, because I think this show is extremely valuable. It is an honor to be on this desk every day. It really is. But what we've just witnessed is the problem with this show, where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, that they favor white people. You just said that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That is exactly what you implied, Kendrick Perkins. That is exactly what you implied. Secondly, hold on.
I did not call. I stated the facts. And you're not about to sit up.
We all know what you implied the other day. We all know what you implied just now. Hold on.
I stated,
one at a time.
It's the facts.
One at a time.
It's the facts.
One at a time.
It's the facts.
Okay.
I want to just say something.
JJ back.